May 7th readings. Justin Martyr. Dialogue with Trypho, chapters 101 to 102. Christ refers all things to the Father. Then what follows of the psalm is this, in which he says, Our fathers trusted in thee, they trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people, which show that he admits them to be his fathers, who trusted in God and were saved by him, who also were the fathers of the Virgin, by whom he was born and became man. And he foretells that he shall be saved by the same God, but boasts not in accomplishing anything through his own will or might. For when on earth he acted in the very same manner and answered to one who addressed him as good master, Why callest thou me good? One is good, my Father who is in heaven. But when he says, I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despised of the people, he prophesied the things which do exist and which happen to him. Psalm 22, 4-6. Christ as the reproach of the people. For we who believe on him are everywhere a reproach, despised of the people. For rejected and dishonored by your nation, he suffered those indignities which you planned against him. And the following, All they that see me laughed me to scorn. They spake with the lips, they shook the head. He trusted in the Lord. Let him deliver him, since he desires him. This likewise he foretold should happen to him. For they that saw him crucified shook their heads each one of them, and distorted their lips, and twisting their noses to each other, they spake in mockery the words which are recorded in the memoirs of his apostles. He said he was the Son of God. Let him come down, let God save him. Psalm 22, verse 7-8. The prediction of events at Christ's birth, and what follows, my hope from the breasts of my mother. On thee have I been cast from the womb. From my mother's belly thou art my God, for there is no helper. Many calves have compassed me, fat bulls have beset me round. They open their mouth upon me, as a ravening and a roaring lion. All my bones are poured out and dispersed like water. My heart has become like wax melting in the midst of my belly. My strength is become dry like a potsherd, and my tongue has cleaved to my throat, foretold what would come to pass, for the statement, my hope from the breasts of my mother, is thus explained. Psalm 22, 9-15, the escape to Egypt. As soon as he was born in Bethlehem, as I previously remarked, King Herod, having learned from the Arabian Magi about him, made a plot to put him to death. And by God's command, Joseph took him with Mary and departed into Egypt. For the Father had decreed that he whom he had begotten should be put to death, but not before he had grown to manhood, and proclaimed the word which proceeded from him. Matthew 2, 13-15. Why God permitted Christ's suffering. But if any of you say to us, Could not God rather have put Herod to death? I return answer by anticipation. Could not God have cut off in the beginning the serpent, so that he exist not, rather than have said, And I will put enmity between him and the woman, and between his seed and her seed? Could he not have at once created a multitude of men? But yet, since he knew that it would be good, he created both angels and men free to do that which is righteous. And he appointed periods of time during which he knew it would be good for them to have the exercise of free will. And because he likewise knew it would be good, he made general and particular judgments, each one's freedom of will, however, being guarded. Genesis 3, Christ's silent suffering. Hence Scripture says the following, At the destruction of the tower and division and alteration of tongues. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they have begun to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them of all which they have attempted to do. And the statement, My strength is become dry like a potsherd, and my tongue has cleaved to my throat, was also a prophecy of what would be done by him according to the Father's will. For the power of his strong word, by which he always confuted the Pharisees and scribes, and in short, all your nation's teachers that questioned him, had a cessation like a plentiful and strong spring, the waters of which have been turned off when he kept silence, and chose to return no answer to any one in the presence of Pilate, as has been declared in the memoirs of his apostles, in order that what is recorded by Isaiah might have efficacious fruit, where it is written, The Lord gives me a tongue that I may know when I ought to speak. Genesis 11, Isaiah 50:4-5. The lesson of humility and salvation. Again, when he said, "Thou art my God, be not far from me," he taught that all men ought to hope in God who created all things, and seek salvation and help from him alone, and not suppose, as the rest of men do, that salvation can be obtained by birth, or wealth, or strength, or wisdom. And such have ever been your practices. At one time you made a calf, and always you have shown yourselves ungrateful, murderers of the righteous, and proud of your descent. For if the Son of God evidently states that he can be saved, neither because he is a son, nor because he is strong or wise, but that without God he cannot be saved, even though he be sinless, as Isaiah declares in words to the effect that even in regard to his very language he committed no sin, for he committed no iniquity or guile with his mouth. How do you or others who expect to be saved without this hope suppose that you are not deceiving yourselves? Exodus 32:7-8, Isaiah 53:9. C. Augustine of Hippo. The Confessions, chapter 6. Baptism at Milan with Alypius and Adeodatus. Thence, when the time had arrived at which I was to give in my name, having left the country, we returned to Milan. Alypius also was pleased to be born again with me in thee, being now clothed with the humility appropriate to thy sacraments, and being so brave a tamer of the body, as with unusual fortitude to tread the frozen soil of Italy with his naked feet. We took into our company the boy Adeodatus, born of me carnally of my sin. Well hadst thou made him. He was barely 15 years, yet in wit excelled many grave and learned men. I confess unto thee thy gifts, O Lord my God, creator of all, and of exceeding power to reform our deformities. For of me was there naught in that boy but the sin. For that we fostered him in thy discipline. Thou inspiredst us, none other. Thy gifts I confess unto thee. The Book de Magistro. There is a book of ours, which is entitled The Master. It is a dialogue between him and me. Thou knowest that all things there put into the mouth of the person in argument with me were his thoughts in his 16th year. Many others more wonderful did I find in him. That talent was a source of awe to me, and who but thou could be the worker of such marvels? Quickly didst thou remove his life from the earth, and now I recall him to mind with a sense of security, in that I fear nothing for his childhood or youth, or for his whole self. We took him coeval with us in thy grace, to be educated in thy discipline, and we were baptized, and solicitude about our past life left us. Nor was I satiated in those days with the wondrous sweetness of considering the depth of thy counsels concerning the salvation of the human race. How greatly did I weep in thy hymns and canticles, deeply moved by the voices of thy sweet-speaking church. The voices flowed into mine ears, and the truth was poured forth into my heart, whence the agitation of my piety overflowed, and my tears ran over, and blessed was I therein. Thomas Aquinas, Summa Theologica, Part 1, Question 64, Article 3. Whether there is sorrow in the demons? Objection. It seems that there is sorrow in the demons, for it is written, "Woe to the world because of scandals," Matthew 18:7. Now the demons are the authors of scandals. Therefore, they must experience sorrow. Responsio. It must be said that there is no sorrow in the demons. The reason for this is that sorrow is a kind of pain that results from the apprehension of something contrary to good, either through the loss of something good or from the absence of something desirable. However, the demons, as evil spirits, are completely separated from the good and have no hope for it. Since they are entirely immersed in the evil of their nature, they are not capable of feeling sorrow as humans do, because sorrow presupposes the desire for good, which they no longer possess. The demons have a complete and unrelenting hatred of the good, which results in their being forever turned away from it, and as such they experience no sorrow in the sense that humans do. Quick summa. In summary, demons do not experience sorrow because sorrow requires the desire for good, and demons are entirely immersed in evil and turned away from any good. They have no hope for change, and thus sorrow, which involves longing for something good, is foreign to their nature.